Tonight, we have breaking news as we come on the air. The life-threatening storm hitting multiple states right now. There are tornado watches as we come on. The highest level of severe tornado risk at this hour. States of emergency now in effect. 120 million Americans on alert for possible long-track tornadoes, large hail and damaging winds gusting up to 100 miles per hour. A blinding storm blamed for a massive pileup, more than 40 vehicles, big rigs blowing over in the wind. From the south into the Midwest and the Northeast, all bracing. Lee Goldberg timing this out. Also tonight, the harrowing images here, the engine on fire, passengers on the wing of an American Airlines jet. The engine began to vibrate just 30 minutes into the flight. They diverted to Denver, the flames then erupting while on the tarmac. The major development tonight, that Pittsburgh college student who disappeared on spring break. Tonight, the last person believed to see her alive, and the interview transcript in which he describes saving her in the ocean, making it to shore, and what he says is the last thing he remembers. Just in tonight, for the first time, ABC News obtaining the dramatic 911 call from a surviving student in the Idaho college murders, calling from the home.
This happened in our house. We don't know what.
You will hear the call and the description of the scene. Tonight, President Trump at the Department of Justice with his new Attorney General suggesting his political enemies should be in jail. Tonight, the tense Senate vote to avert a government shutdown. We'll go live to the Hill. The war in Ukraine, and James Longman tonight with extraordinary access to the vast underground hospital, treating injured Ukrainian soldiers and what they say about this U.S. push for a ceasefire and whether to believe Vladimir Putin. And tonight here, the baby boom, the baby giraffe and the baby leopard, 2 American zoos and 2 teams tonight caring for these very rare babies. And you'll see them.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and we begin tonight with what authorities are warning is a life-threatening storm sweeping across several states tonight. There are tornado watches just issued. 120 million Americans in 20 states on alert from the south to the Midwest and the Northeast. Tornadoes and damaging winds with these storms up to 100 miles per hour. Tonight, they're expecting fierce winds and possible long-track tornadoes across the South and Midwest. And tomorrow, this continues. The highest level of severe tornado risk in the Deep South. And by Sunday, the severe storms hit the east. Already tonight, winds in Texas, look at this, up to 70 miles an hour, triggering blinding dust storms and fueling a fire in Lake Tanglewood. A family escaping a fire in Allen Reed, Texas, flames out the window and traffic backed up on the highway. 18-wheelers no match for the winds in Amarillo, Texas, toppling over north of Interstate 40. South of there, the dust storms blinding drivers, triggering a multi-vehicle crash on Interstate 27. This could be a very dangerous night ahead, and the potential for long-track tornadoes tomorrow and straight-line winds. Lee Goldberg has the forecast, and Matt Rivers leading us off in St. Louis at this hour, where they're under a tornado watch right now.
Tonight, wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour, fueling out-of-control fires, walls of dust blinding drivers, and sending trucks flying in the Texas Panhandle.
There it goes. There goes another one.
Multiple 18-wheelers north of Interstate 40 in Amarillo falling like dominoes. Watch this man, along with a police officer, race to detach the trailer and save the front end of the truck.
Trying to put the jacks down so they can unhook and let it flip over without the truck on it. Smart.
It was no match for the wind.
There it goes.
Storm chaser Kirk Michelson on the scene of a horrific crash on Interstate 27 south of Amarillo, guiding victims to safety in his truck.
We made it.
Grass fires forcing families to evacuate the tiny town of Allen Reed.
Everybody go to the city of Allen Reed, please. City of Allen Reed. I'm hearing it's about to burn down. I need to get units there. I want eyes on.
Fire jumped.
Flames exploding in Lake Tanglewood, raging flames incinerating multiple homes. The winds marking the beginning of a potent multi-day severe weather outbreak that has more than half the country in its sights.
There is a heightened sense of alertness about this today. Yeah, we always take it seriously, but today there's kind of an additional push on it.
Missouri's governor declaring a state of emergency, St. Louis and its nearly 300,000 residents right in the crosshairs tonight. And David, tonight right here in downtown St. Louis, we are under a tornado watch through the rest of the evening. David?
All right, Matt Rivers right there in St. Louis for us. Matt, thank you. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our station WABC here in New York. And Lee, you're tracking the tornado watches up right now.
David, the severe weather outbreak is getting underway this evening. It's a dangerous couple days ahead, and if you're in the path of the storms we're about to mention, have a plan to get to a place of safety, and please be weather aware. The tornado watches till 11 o'clock St. Louis to Springfield, and another one to the south till 10 o'clock from Greenville to Baton Rouge. But it's the Midwest all the way to the deep south tonight. That's where we have the bullseye. St. Louis between about 9 and 11 o'clock tonight. 100-mile-per-hour winds possible, strong tornadoes, even baseball-size hail. Then tomorrow, a rare and urgent high risk for a tornado outbreak, Mississippi and Alabama, from Jackson to Birmingham. These could be very dangerous with 80-mile-per-hour gusts and long-track violent tornadoes. The storms move into Georgia and into the Florida Panhandle at night. Then East Coast by Sunday. Maybe some severe weather from Jacksonville to the Carolinas. Heavy rain for the Northeast and gusty winds. David?
Lee Goldberg with us tonight. Could be a very dangerous weekend, so everyone stay tuned to the forecast. Lee, thank you. We turn now to the engine fire on an American Airlines flight from Colorado Springs to Dallas. The flight reporting engine trouble. Just 30 minutes into the flight, the engine vibrating. Diverted to Denver, then the engine erupting in flames after landing. Passengers and crew forced to evacuate, some down slides and others you can see stranded on the wing of the plane. ABC's Mola Lenghi at the airport in Denver tonight.
Tonight, this terrifying scene on the tarmac. An American Airlines jet catching fire after diverting to Denver. Black smoke pouring into the air. A dozen injured. Flames and smoke visible from inside the cabin. The Boeing 737 was traveling from Colorado Springs to Dallas-Fort Worth yesterday afternoon when, 30 minutes into the flight, the crew reported engine vibrations.
We just have a high engine vibration, so we are cruising slower than normal for American 10,006.
The engine catching fire at the gate, forcing 178 passengers and crew to evacuate.
Oh my gosh.
Some seen on the wing of the plane, others escaping down a slide. 12 passengers taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Burn marks later seen on the fuselage.
This was a situation involving a mechanical malfunction of the engine in flight that did not really erupt into flames until it got on the ground. Fortunately, the crew did exactly the right thing and got the airplane on the ground as rapidly as possible.
Well, David, in a statement, American Airlines thanking their crew and first responders for their quick actions here at Denver Airport. They say everyone has been released from the hospital, and tonight the FAA and NTSB are investigating the incident, David.
Well, they're so lucky they got that plane on the ground before that happened. Mola, thank you. There is news in the search for the 20-year-old Pittsburgh college student who vanished on spring break in the Dominican Republic. Tonight, the last person believed to see her alive in the interview transcript here, in which he describes saving her in the ocean, making it to shore, and what he says is the last thing he then remembers. Ariel Reshef in the Dominican Republic again tonight.
Tonight, more than a week after she vanished, new details in the case of missing 20-year-old college student Sadiksha Kananki from the last known person to see her. According to a transcript obtained by ABC News, 22-year-old Joshua Reeby, who is not considered a suspect, told officials here in the Dominican Republic he and Kananki had just met that night and stayed behind together on the beach after a night of drinking with their friends. Reeby allegedly told investigators they were kissing in the ocean and were slammed by a large wave, adding they both struggled in the water and he tried to save her. I was holding her under my arm and swimming. It was hard. I was a pool lifeguard, not the ocean. He said he got her to shore and last saw her walking at an angle in knee-deep water. According to the transcript, Reeby telling officials, I asked her if she was okay. I didn't hear her response because I began to vomit with all the seawater I had swallowed. After vomiting, I looked around and I didn't see anyone. Then saying he passed out on the beach and awoke thinking she had gone inside. Hotel cameras capturing him returning to his room later that morning. Dominican authorities say this is not a criminal investigation. Reeby interviewed as a witness. Police sources have told ABC News from the beginning they believe Kananki drowned. But still, the painstaking search goes on, and they aren't ruling anything out.
And David, the Reeby family issuing a statement tonight saying he is dismayed by Sadiksha's disappearance and they want to continue to contribute to the search effort, but they also want their son to be allowed to return back to the United States from the Dominican Republic, where they say he's been detained in his hotel room under police surveillance. David?
Ariel Reshef, our thanks to you again tonight. Also just in this evening, for the first time, ABC News obtaining the dramatic 911 call from a surviving student in the Idaho college murders, calling from the driveway and inside the home. Kana Whitworth on the case again tonight.
Tonight, the frantic call for help.
911 location of your emergency. Something is happening.
For the first time, we're hearing the 911 call from a surviving roommate nearly 8 hours after 4 students were stabbed to death in this home near the University of Idaho.
Something's happening in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
One of 2 surviving roommates is on the line, standing in the driveway, terrified and sobbing as she passes the phone to a neighbor who just arrived.
One of the roommates is passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
The roommate is then heard again, pleading with the dispatcher.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check. But we have to.
You can hear the young woman coaxing her roommate to go back into that house, and they do.
Is she passed out? Up.
You can hear the anguish. Xana Carnodal, her boyfriend Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonzalez, and best friend Madison Mogan were all gone.
Now, David, the roommate heard on that call later told investigators she saw a man clad in black in the house at the time of the murders, and prosecutors say that man is Brian Koberger. Now, his lawyers say he is innocent, but David, questions still remain as to why it took so long for that 911 call to be made. David.
Chilling audio tonight. Kana, thank you. Now to President Trump at the Department of Justice today with his new Attorney General praising his new AG and suggesting his political enemies should be in jail. Our Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas was there.
Tonight, Attorney General Pam Bondi escorting President Trump into the Justice Department, the agency that investigated and prosecuted him, an agency meant to be largely independent, but which Trump has now made clear answers to him. In an extraordinarily political speech, the president lashing out at the department itself.
We must be honest about the lies and abuses that have occurred within these walls.
The at times meandering address, largely an attack on his enemies and an airing of personal grievances.
They spied on my campaign, launched one hoax and disinformation operation after another, broke the law on a colossal scale, persecuted my family, staff, and supporters, raided my home, Mar-a-Lago.
As a candidate, Trump vowed retribution. As president, the officials he's installed carrying it out, firing dozens of FBI agents and top prosecutors who worked on the cases against him. And tonight he implied his payback campaign is not over.
The people who did this to us should go to jail. They should go to jail.
David, 1 year ago today, President Trump was in federal court defending himself against a special counsel appointed by the Justice Department. And the personal lawyers with him that day are now the number 2 and number 3 ranking officials at the Justice Department. It's a DOJ truly transformed, David.
Pierre Thomas live in Washington tonight. Pierre, thank you. The other breaking story in Washington, the key vote on whether to avert a government shutdown. All eyes on the Senate, of course, and Democrats upset with President Trump and Elon Musk over the firings of thousands of federal workers and angry about the tariffs and their effect on the economy, but still not wanting to be blamed for any shutdown. So Mary Bruce is live up on the Hill tonight. Mary, where does this stand?
Well, David, a shutdown is now officially off the table here tonight after 10 Senate Democrats joined Republicans to advance this funding bill, but it has exposed a real rift in the party. Many Democrats tonight are furious. They saw this as their first big chance to take a stand against the Trump administration, against the tariffs, and against the mass firings being led by Elon Musk. Just days ago, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said he would not support this bill, but he quickly caved, saying despite his opposition, a shutdown would be far worse. House Democrats tonight are outraged. In a telling moment earlier, House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries notably refused to answer when asked point blank if he'd lost confidence in Schumer's leadership. The bottom line here tonight, this bill has now passed to avoid a shutdown. The government funded through the end of September, David.
Mary Bruce live up on the Hill for us. Mary, thank you. To the war in Ukraine, meanwhile, and tonight, James Longman with extraordinary access tonight to the vast underground hospital treating injured Ukrainian soldiers. and what they're now saying about this U.S. push for a ceasefire and whether to believe Vladimir Putin. Here's James.
Tonight, we were given extraordinary access to Ukrainian soldiers near the front line of the fight against Russia.
You can see they're getting out of the car now.
We visited a vast underground hospital, the only one of its kind, springing to action to help injured warriors.
So while Presidents Trump, Putin and Zelensky debate what happens in this war, for the men and the women on the front line, there is no end in sight.
This soldier visibly distraught. He's just lost 3 of his brothers in arms to Russian artillery. I ask his commander if all this sacrifice is worth it if American support dries up. We'll fight with our bare hands, he says. I ask what he thinks of Putin's commitment to peace. He laughs. He's a killer who you cannot trust. Whatever Putin says, he lies.
Are you worried Trump believes his lies?
He's the American president, the commander tells me. He was elected. He knows what to do.
Now, President Trump called talks with Putin good and productive. President Zelensky says he's just playing for time. David?
James Longman with us from Ukraine. James, just extraordinary access. We thank you. When we come back tonight, the horrific and deadly scene on the interstate. The driver of a truck has been arrested tonight after a 17-vehicle pileup, and you'll see it here. The effort to get those 2 astronauts home. SpaceX will attempt to launch a rocket again to the International Space Station. We'll go live right after the break. Tonight, that effort to get to those 2 astronauts to bring them home after nearly a year left in space. Let's get right to Faith Abube at the Kennedy Space Center. Faith?
David, the SpaceX capsule lifting off behind me moments ago, heading towards the International Space Station. A successful second attempt after a hydraulics issue forced NASA and SpaceX to abruptly scrap that launch on Wednesday. This is a major step towards bringing home astronauts Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore. NASA tells me the pair was never technically stranded. There was always a vehicle at the International Space Station to bring them back to Earth in case of an emergency. But NASA decided to leave them there to continue to do research. But tonight we're told the pair could be back here on Earth as soon as next Wednesday. David?
Yeah, supposed to be 8 days, turned out to be nearly a year. Let's hope they come home soon. And you too, Faith. Faith, thank you. When we come back tonight, there's been a deadly crash on the interstate. A 17-vehicle pileup. A truck driver has been arrested. And stay tuned here because later the baby boom, the rare baby giraffe and the very rare baby leopard, both in the U.S., the caretakers tonight asking for your help. To the Index, and tonight a truck driver has been charged with DUI in a deadly 17-vehicle pileup in Austin, Texas. At least 5 people killed, 11 injured. Witnesses say the 18-wheeler plowed through vehicles for half a mile on I-35. When we come back here tonight, the baby boom, the endangered baby giraffe, and the very rare baby leopard. And you'll see them both right after the break. Finally tonight, the baby boom and the caretakers giving a baby giraffe and baby leopard their best chance. Our Persons of the Week. Tonight, the baby boom at 2 American zoos. The teams taking care of these rare and endangered babies. In Denver, Colorado, after 444 days, a long-awaited endangered reticulated giraffe calf born to mom, Bibi. Mother and baby together, bonding.
Hi, David.
Reese Falzer from the Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance.
Our team is over the moon about this newest arrival, especially because reticulated giraffes are endangered, so this birth is incredibly important for the species as a whole.
And tonight, she says you can help name the baby giraffe and support their nonprofit conservation efforts. For a $5 donation, you can choose from 3 names. Dag, in honor of the late giraffe researcher, Dr. Ann Innes Dag. Thorn, a favorite woody food for giraffes, they say. Or Kujali, meaning to care in Swahili.
We're really excited for his public debut soon. We can't wait for guests to meet him.
And tonight in Tennessee, the Nashville Zoo would like you to meet their newest member to the family.
Hi, David.
Dr. Heath Schwartz welcoming their new rare clouded leopard cub.
She's actually crawling around and really active now. You can see her here at the zoo anytime during the day.
There are only about 10,000 of these rare clouded leopard cubs left living in the wild. And tonight, a $1 donation to help name the newborn and to help care for the cub, too. This evening, the care teams in 2 zoos across this country working tirelessly to save the rare and endangered babies. And so we choose the caretakers and the babies. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.